I've made it clear that I believe America is at an inflection point. One of those rare moments in history when the decisions we make now will determine our fate of our nation and the world for decades to come. America's going to have to choose between moving forward or backward, between hope and hate, between unity and division. We have to decide, do we still believe in honesty, decency, respect, freedom, justice, and democracy? You know, in recent weeks, it's become clear to me that I need to unite my party in this critical endeavor. I believe my record as president, my leadership in the world, my vision for America's future, all merited a second term. But nothing can come in the way of saving our democracy. That includes personal ambition. So I've decided the best way forward is to pass the torch to a new generation. That's the best way to unite our nation. You know, there is a time and a place for long years of experience in public life. There's also a time and a place for new voices, fresh voices, yes, younger voices. And that time and place is now. I ran for president 4 years ago because I believed and still do that the soul of America was at stake. The very nature of who we are was at stake. And that's still the case. America's an idea stronger than any army, bigger than any ocean, more powerful than any dictator or tyrant. It's the most powerful idea in the history of the world. That idea is that we hold these truths to be self-evident. We're all created equal, endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights: life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. We've never fully lived up to it, to this sacred idea, but we've never walked away from it either. And I do not believe the American people will walk away from it now. In just a few months, the American people will choose the course of America's future. I made my choice. I've made my views known. I would like to thank our great Vice President, Kamala Harris. She's experienced, she's tough, she's capable. She's been an incredible partner to me and a leader for our country. Now the choice is up to you, the American people. Nowhere else on earth could a kid with a stutter, from modest beginnings in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and Claremont, Delaware, one day sit behind the resolute desk in the Oval Office as President of the United States. But here I am. That's what's so special about America. We're a nation of promise and possibilities, of dreamers and doers, of ordinary Americans doing extraordinary things. I've given my heart and my soul to our nation, like so many others. I've been blessed a million times in return with the love and support of the American people. I hope you have some idea how grateful I am to all of you. The great thing about America is here, kings and dictators do not rule, the people do. History is in your hands. The power is in your hands. The idea of America lies in your hands. We just have to keep faith, keep the faith, and remember who we are. We're the United States of America, and there's simply nothing beyond our capacity when we do it together.
And I know we are all deeply, deeply grateful for his continuing service to our nation. And it is my great honor to have Joe Biden's endorsement in this race. So, Wisconsin, I am told as of this morning that we have earned the support of enough delegates to secure the Democratic nomination. So, friends, we have 105 days until Election Day. And in that time, we've got some work to do. But we're not afraid of hard work. We like hard work, don't we? And we will win this election. Yes, we will. So as Leah told you, before I was elected vice president, before I was elected United States Senator, I was elected Attorney General of the state of California, and I was a courtroom prosecutor before then. And in those roles, I took on perpetrators of all kinds. Predators who abused women, fraudsters who ripped off consumers, cheaters who broke the rules for their own gain. So hear me when I say, I know Donald Trump's type. I promise you, I will proudly put my record against his any day of the week. As Attorney General of California, I took on one of our country's largest for-profit colleges that was scamming students. Donald Trump ran a for-profit college that scammed students. As a prosecutor, I specialized in cases involving sexual abuse. Well, Trump was found liable for committing sexual abuse. As Attorney General of California, I took on the big Wall Street banks and held them accountable for fraud. Donald Trump was just found guilty of fraud on 34 counts. But let's also make no mistake, this campaign is not just about us versus Donald Trump. This campaign is about who we fight for. This is about who we fight for. Just look at how we are running our campaigns. So Donald Trump is relying on support from billionaires and big corporations. And he is trading access in exchange for campaign contributions. A couple months ago, you all saw that a couple months ago at Mar-a-Lago, he literally promised big oil companies, big oil lobbyists, he would do their bidding for $1 billion in campaign donations. On the other hand, we are running a people-powered campaign. And we just had some breaking news. We just had the best 24 hours of grassroots fundraising in presidential campaign history. All right? And because we are a people-powered campaign, that is how you know we will be a people-first presidency. In Wisconsin, this campaign is also about two different visions for our nation. One, where we are focused on the future. The other, focused on the past. We believe in a future where every person has the opportunity not just to get by, but to get ahead. A future where no child has to grow up in poverty. Where every worker has the freedom to join a union. Where every person has affordable health care, affordable child care, and paid family leave. We believe in a future future where every senior can retire with dignity. So all of this is to say, building up the middle class will be a defining goal of my presidency. Because here's the thing we all here, Wisconsin, know. When our middle class is strong, America is strong. But Donald Trump wants to take our country backward. He and his extreme Project 2025 agenda will weaken the middle class. Like, we know we got to take this seriously. And can you believe they put that thing in writing? Read it. It's 900 pages. But here's the thing. When you read it, you will see Donald Trump intends to cut Social Security and Medicare. He intends to give tax breaks to billionaires and big corporations and make working families foot the bill. They intend to end the Affordable Care Act and take us back then to a time when insurance companies had the power to deny people with pre-existing conditions. Remember what that was like? Children with asthma, women who survived breast cancer, grandparents with diabetes. America has tried these failed economic policies before, but we are not going back. We are not going back. Not going back. We're not going back. We are not going back. And I'll tell you why we're not going back. Because ours is a fight for the future. And it is a fight for freedom. Generations of America's, generations, and we have to remember this, the shoulders on which we stand, generations of Americans before us led the fight for freedom. And now, Wisconsin, the baton is in our hands. We who believe in the sacred freedom to vote will make sure every American has the ability to cast their ballot and have it counted. We who believe that every person in our nation who should have the freedom to live safe from the terror of gun violence will finally pass red flag laws, universal background checks, and an assault weapons ban. Who believe in reproductive freedom will stop Donald Trump's extreme abortion bans because we trust women to make decisions about their own body and not have their government tell them what to do. When Congress passes a law to restore reproductive freedoms, as President of the United States, I will sign it into law. So, Wisconsin, ultimately in this election, we each face a question. What kind of country do we want to live in? A country... And to your point, do we want to live in a country of freedom, compassion, and rule of law, or a country of chaos, fear, and hate. And here's the beauty of this moment. We each have the power to answer that question. The power is with the people. We each have the power to answer that question. And in the next 105 days, then we have work to do. We have doors to knock on. We have phone calls to make. We have voters to register. And we have an election to win.
While Democrats coalesce around Kamala Harris, elected Republicans and conservative media are lobbing one of their favorite lines of attack at the de facto nominee, that she is a DEI hire.
The only reason Kamala's in the White House is because of the DEI deal Biden cut with Bernie to seal the nomination.
And, of course, her whole history is DEI, diversity, exclusion, and equity.
Intellectually, just really kind of the bottom of the barrel. I think she was a DEI hire.
She would be the queen of DEI if she were elected. She is DEI.
Are you suggesting she was a DEI hire?
100%. She was a DEI hire.
This focus on DEI is, of course, just one of the many conservative attacks on Vice President Harris. But these racially charged comments have gotten so bad that House Republican leadership has stepped forward to tell its own members to basically knock it off and instead focus on Vice President Harris's record and not on her race and gender. I'm gonna say it again, Simone. When you have to send a memo saying stop being racist, it's a good indicator that you're a racist.
It is very problematic. I will also say again that I do not think Democrats should spend their entire time discussing this. However, semicolon, it is very important to call it out and address what they are doing and saying, because this is something that not just Black people, people of color, period, women, they deal with often. Someone suggesting in a meeting or at your workplace or you standing in line at the Starbucks that you are where you are because someone gave it to you.
What makes this so ugly is that it reveals a truth that is clearly broadly held within Republican circles. That white men, by definition, when they have a job, earned it and deserve it. And anybody but a white man is a DEI hire, meaning it was handed to them without them deserving it or without them earning it. George W. Bush became president because his father was president. John F. Kennedy, in many ways, his political rise was because his father paid for it. Paid for a film to be made about his service in World War II to make him more popular. Donald Trump became president because he was on The Apprentice.
Mm-hmm. This is some tea, Joy. This is tea is hot.
But the reality is that in order for if Vice President Kamala Harris becomes president, she will become president because she was a DA who then got elected to be the Attorney General in the largest state in the country, which could be its own country, and where that was not done because the state of California is overwhelmingly Black. It's only about 6% Black. So she was elected by the entire broad spectrum, one of the most diverse states in the country, as Attorney General, and then got elected to the United States Senate, meaning that she couldn't possibly be handed the jobs that she had because she had to earn not a few votes, but millions of votes. She didn't get elected senator in Wyoming, where there are more cows than human beings. And so, by definition, she's earned every position. But to have even women come forward and try to make salacious accusations about her and essentially undermine her and all of the voters who supported her. She was selected vice president as one of the most qualified people to ever take that office. Much more so than Dan Quayle. I don't even remember what he did to become vice president. So the reality is they are revealing, not just to us on this panel, but to every suburban voter in Philadelphia, to every woman who's ever worked at a job where they felt passed over for a position that a man received or got the job and then had a question. And I'm not just talking about Black women. I'm talking about women in general. I'm talking about anyone who has ever felt slighted. You can talk about working class people who they're based on class. They're told that they don't deserve to be there. Every person has a story about that moment when you were told you don't belong here. All they're doing is turning those voters into voters for Kamala Harris. And so just as a matter of strategy, it's absolutely stupid. It's also deeply offensive.
This 920-page document would usher in the most conservative executive branch in modern American history, if enacted. It's called Project 2025. Its pages offer new administrations a blueprint for executing a right-wing agenda, from purging the government of thousands of civil servants to dismantling the Department of Education. The project has 4 main pillars: a policy plan, a personnel database, an online academy, and a playbook for the president's first 180 days in office. The first pillar is a policy agenda that focuses on dismantling the so-called administrative state, or what some conservatives call the deep state.
Either the deep state destroys America, or we destroy the deep state.
For Project 2025, dismantling the administrative state means purging the civil workforce of tens of thousands of federal employees and replacing them with conservative, pre-vetted picks. The plan would dismantle the Department of Homeland Security, eliminate the Department of Education entirely, and transform the FBI into a political task force that is accountable to the president. The playbook also outlines a plan to bring many federal agencies, like the Department of Justice, under more direct presidential control.
Congresswoman, good morning. Thank you for being here. How do you plan to communicate the dangers of Project 2025 to voters, not just around a Trump presidency, but understanding that even a defeat of Donald Trump still leaves Project 2025 looming as a problem going forward?
Yeah, so first of all, thanks to MSNBC for actually discussing an issue that voters need to know about, which is Project 2025, instead of engaging in all of the extra drama that has been going on. Second of all, I think that it's really important that people understand that Project 2025 is actually already underway. As someone who served in the Texas House and had to endure the Heritage Foundation sending bills, because that's exactly what they've been doing, is they've been sending bills through our state houses and our state senates. That is how we got to the point that we ended up with these abortion bans. They called it the heartbeat bill in the state of Texas. That is something that they pass along to Texas. They pass it along to Florida. And so what people need to understand and decide is, if you like the direction that this country is going as it relates to our Supreme Court that has eviscerated our Constitution, that seemingly doesn't care anything about court precedents and seemingly only wants to bow down to Trump as if they are serving him in the way that Eileen Cannon just did, then that is what you will get more of. If you want to live in a country in which you are force-fed this pseudo-Christianity, where you have to believe in God and do the things that they say their God wants you to do, which I argue is the same God that they used to justify slavery in the first place. And then when we look at diversity, equity, and inclusion and what they've done in the Supreme Court, we already see this actually taking place. The issue that we don't understand is that the last kind of nail in the coffin is Trump getting into the presidency. And the scariest part about that is that, let's say he decides he doesn't want to leave the White House. Well, who's going to check him? Because the Supreme Court has decided that checking him is not really something they're interested in doing.
Let's see, you're the executive director for the America First Legal, correct?
That's correct.
All right. And America First Legal is a member of Project 2025, which is dedicated to creating the playbook for the next conservative administration and what it calls the Project Pillars, correct?
We are proud contributors to Project 2025.
Okay. And are you familiar with Project 2025's mandate for leadership?
In fact, I am.
All right, so let's walk through some of the provisions of the mandate. It calls for eliminating the Department of Education, eliminating the Department of Commerce, deploying the military for the use of domestic law enforcement against protesters under the Insurrection Act of 1807. It also has the repealing of Schedule F status for thousands of federal employees to allow a president to replace career civil servants with unqualified partisan loyalists. That's probably my favorite of it. It also prohibits the FBI from combating the spread of misinformation and disinformation, like Russia and China, who are actively trying to interfere with American elections. I don't know why or how anybody can support Project 2025. And I know that there was allegedly a joke about dictators and whether or not that's funny, but in the United States of America, dictatorships are never funny. And Project 2025 is giving the playbook for authoritarianism as well as the next dictator to come in. And
what Project 2025 articulates is the idea that the president should be the one directing the activities of the Department of Justice, even if that means that the president will not be investigated or that the DOJ will be sent to attack the president's political enemies.
We will root out the communists, Marxists, fascists, and the radical left thugs that live like vermin within the confines of our country.
The Heritage Foundation says it wants to ensure that what remains of this whittled-down federal bureaucracy is conservative, not just for the next president, but for a long time to come. Pillar 2, Personnel Database. The Heritage Foundation has already contracted the technology company Oracle to build this database, kind of like a conservative networking platform.
Trump really emphasizes loyalty, and you see those practices now being adopted by Project 2025, where you fill out a form that essentially indicates if you are loyal to President Trump or not.
Once they're fully vetted, they can move on to Pillar 3, an online presidential administration academy that would train future bureaucrats in conservative values and governing.
So we want these people who are competent, who have great credentials, to be prepared for the specific job that they will have.
Project 2025 provides detailed policy plans for dozens of government agencies, outlining ways to create de facto abortion bans, slash federal investment in renewable energy, and roll back environmental regulations. Here, you can see several sections dedicated to consolidating U.S. immigration agencies and expanding their power. But how legally sound are these policy proposals, and what would they look like in practice? That's where Pillar 4 comes in, the playbook for the first 180 days of a conservative presidency. A big part of the plan is modeled off of a Trump-era policy called Schedule F.
Schedule F is originally an executive order that Trump signed that would allow him to turn thousands of career civil servants into political appointees that he could then fire if they displeased him in any way, and then have to be more responsive to a president who in the past has shown a willingness to fire people for disloyalty rather than for competence.
The Biden administration reversed this order in 2021, but Trump has vowed to bring it back if he is reelected.
First, I will immediately reissue my 2020 executive order restoring the president's authority to remove rogue bureaucrats, and I will wield that power very aggressively.
Back in 2022, Trump spoke to the Heritage Foundation and was direct about its role in crafting future policy.
This is a great group, and they're going to lay the groundwork and detail plans for exactly what our movement will do and what your movement will do when the American people give us a colossal mandate to save America. And that's coming. That's coming.
Do we believe in freedom? Do we believe in opportunity? Do we believe in the promise of America? And are we ready to fight